Hello and welcome back. Today's class is going to be a really nice grounding session. Generally a slow, nourishing flow that's going to feel good for the whole body. So there isn't going to be any special peak pose or anything that you have to achieve in this class. It's simply here to reconnect you and realign you with your own breath, with your own body, and to perhaps start your day with this sequence and to feel really good for the rest of your day so that you can be fully present for everything that you have going on. So for this class, it might be nice to start seated. As you can see, I'm sitting up on two blankets that are stacked. You could sit up on two blocks in hero's pose instead. So kind of sitting facing forward, but in this kind of position, or you could take the cross-legged seat, whatever feels better. So once you get settled and find a comfortable seat for your body, we're going to start by setting our gaze on something soft, something sort of in front of you. And just start by taking 3 deep breaths, gazing at that object. So breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. On this third one, breathe in through the nose and close your eyes, exhale out. And let that object kind of fade away as you continue to breathe. And allow your gaze to shift inward. And as you sit here, root your tailbone and your sit bones and your pelvis into the ground or into the object that you're sitting on. Feel your hips, your legs. Notice your hands and your fingers. See if you can let them relax. Notice your arms and your shoulders and see if you can let them soften. Notice the belly and your spine and allow the spine to grow out of your pelvis and let your belly relax so that you can breathe freely. And then let your chest and your lungs feel nice and spacious, so that you can breathe easily through the chest or through your back. And maybe think there's a string pulling through the top of your head, and there's this sort of forward and up sensation, this lift from behind your ears, kind of lengthening your neck so that your skull sits on top of your spine. And you should feel equally grounded and rooted down into your lower body as you do lifted and stretched upward through your spine and your upper body. And then from here, I'll invite you to notice any sounds in your environment and start to pay close attention to those sounds. Whether they are loud or subtle, give each sound that comes up your equal attention. Maybe shifting one by one, focusing on one at a time. And as you do this, see if you can soften between the eyebrows and in your eyes and in your jaw. And then I'll invite you to notice the temperature on your skin. And if there's any sort of breeze in your space, or if the air is very still. Notice any sensations in the mouth of thirst or taste or even hunger. And feel your body here in this exact moment. Maybe you notice that your body feels very even and balanced, or maybe you're noticing asymmetry or stiffness or some sort of imbalance. None of this is good or bad, we're just observing so that we know where we are starting from. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. And in your mind's eye, paint a mental picture of yourself sitting here on your yoga mat in your space. See yourself from the outside. And then I'll invite you to blink the eyes open and to let the external landscape come back into your field of view. And maybe look around with a soft gaze, eyes open, just kind of taking in the textures and the colors. And take a few more moments just looking around, noticing the space. And become very present with everything that you see. And then start to wander your gaze back towards the front, towards the center. Still sitting up nice and tall. We're going to draw the belly in and reach the arms overhead to get that nice upward stretch. Maybe kind of flick the fingers like you're flicking water droplets off of your fingers towards the sky. And then we're going to interlace the fingers, flip the palms, get nice and tall. Side bend to your right. It could be little, just to start to open up the waist, and then come through the center and side bend to the left. Doesn't have to be big. And then come back up to the center, separate your hands. Let's come into a tricep stretch. So just grab one elbow and look down. Starting to open up the back of your arm. And we'll take one more breath here, looking down. And then on the inhale, reach up, look up. And then do the other arm. Grab your other elbow, look down, chin to chest. And just feel that little stretch in your tricep. Inhale, reach up, look up. Open your arms wide to the letter T, palms facing forward, thumbs up, pinkies down. Spread your fingers nice and wide and feel that slight activation in your bicep triceps, but try to keep the shoulders sort of relaxed and sort of down. And then we're just going to flip both palms back. So now your thumb is down and your pinky fingers up. And then flip the palms forward. And then flip the palms back. And then from here, we're going to bring both arms behind the back, grab one wrist, or just stack your palms flat. Roll the shoulders back and open the chest a little bit. So you feel a stretch across the heart. Maybe draw your navel in to support your spine. And then relax the shoulders kind of back to neutral. Switch the hands, so either stack the other palm on top or grab your other wrist and do the same thing. Open the chest, kind of taking a little back bend here, puffing the heart forward. Be mindful that the chin doesn't overextend up, but it's kind of just a little bit tilted, just following the natural curve of your spine. And then come back to neutral. Let's release the hands to the thighs. We're going to take our gaze over to the right. So just turn your head and try to match your chin in the same plane as your shoulder as you get a little stretch here. And then look back at center. Look over to your left, getting a nice neck stretch. And then look forward, drop your chin to your chest, and then let your head kind of rock side to side. Eyes can be open or closed. If your eyes are open, just keep a soft gaze so that your eyes feel very relaxed but perceptive. So you can have this like parasympathetic way of taking in the external environment. And then lift your gaze back to center. We're just going to let our right ear fall toward our right shoulder and hang here for 5 breaths. And you can keep your arms relaxed, or you could reach them low. It might even be nice to take the tips of your fingers and land them onto the ground if you can. So as you can see here, I'm like doming my hands and the fingertips are touching the floor. And this feels really good. So if you're able to reach, maybe you ground your fingertips. And then we're going to gently bring the head back to center. Relax the arms so that they're not really like stretching. Let your ear come to the left. And then maybe again, We reach the hands, fingertips to the mat if you can. Otherwise, you can just kind of stretch and reach through the fingers. We're going to take 4 more breaths. So here we're really thinking of the neck bending laterally. So we're trying to keep our head pretty much forward. It's just turning and bending to the side. So there's not too much rotation in the other directions. Trying to keep it in this one plane. And then we'll start to come back up to the center. Keeping the hands glued down if possible, we're going to create medium-sized circles with the neck. So not too big that you're kind of like breaking the back of the neck or overextending in your spine, but just enough so you start to feel a little bit of a stretch as you let the head circle around. Maybe you do it 2 or 3 times one way and then you reverse your circles. And as you kind of stretch your fingertips towards the earth, it encourages a little bit more length in the sides of the neck and the tops of your shoulders. Subtle, but a nice way to open up, especially at the beginning of the morning. And then we're going to let that relax, maybe roll the shoulders a little bit. Or if you want to, we can interlace the fingers and kind of puff, almost like a cat pose. Puff through your back, drop your chin to your chest, and almost like wiggle a little bit side to side. And then when that feels complete, come back to center. Simple, we'll take a twist to the right. So just rotate your body to the right, supporting yourself with your hands. Look past your shoulder, all the way behind you. And then exhale, twist to the left, same thing. So left hand back, right hand crosses. Look all the way behind you. And then come back to the center. From here, let's transition into a tabletop. If you want to put a blanket under your knees, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, you could take them out of the way. And we're going to bring our hands to the floor, knees to the floor or mat, and then start to take some wrist circles. So the palms are flat. If you tuck your toes, you'll get a little bonus stretch into the feet as you lean back, and then go the other way. And then if you're craving more for your wrists and your forearms, you're going to flip your fingertips towards your knees and then take little circles here. And you'll really feel the stretch as you start to lean back, so you could slow it down on the back side. And go both ways if you're doing circles, or maybe rock forward and back a couple times. And then actually to complete this one, what we'll do is tuck the toes, pull the belly in, lean back. You can let the heel of your palm rise away from the mat, but keep your fingertips grounded and just take 3 breaths. Feel that nice stretch in the forearms and your wrists and a little bit into the fingers. And then we're going to come back smooth, shake out the wrists, and let's find a child's pose. So knees can be nice and wide, toes together, and bow the head. Arms can go wherever you want. So it might even feel nice to rest the forehead in the hands. Or if you want to stretch your back and shoulders, you can extend the arms and ground your forehead towards the earth. Breathe deeply. And let's send a little focus into the hips. So feel the groins opening. Feel your lower back extending. Maybe breathe directly into your lower back. And let the belly relax. And then let's start to make our way back to tabletop. Hands and knees. We're going to reach the right arm open and then take big circles here. So circle that arm maybe twice one way, twice the other way. And really stretch through the fingers so you can start to feel this opening and activating. And then you're going to inhale up to the ceiling. Exhale, thread the needle. Reach it under, lean into your right shoulder. Maybe push through that left hand, and we'll take 3 breaths. So really let that exhale extend you into your stretch. Maybe this is the last one. And then on your inhale, let's open it back up, right arm to the ceiling. Half bind this arm behind your back. Get a little bonus stretch here across the top of the shoulder. And then come back, right hand to the floor. Reach the left arm open. Take some big circles here. Maybe 2 one way and then 2 the other way. And then we're going to inhale, stretch it all the way open. And then exhale, thread it under. Lean into that left shoulder and take 3 deep breaths. Feel your shoulder blades moving apart. One more breath. And then we're going to inhale the left arm open, half bind it behind the back as you start to open across the heart. And then come back down to tabletop. Let's find a downward facing dog. So nice, easy down dog. Push through the arms, get a little soft bend in the knees. Gaze towards your feet or your ankles. And take 3 more breaths. If you want to pedal it out, you can alternate one leg and then the other. If you feel called to take a 3-legged dog, you could do both legs one at a time, sweeping the right leg up and then bending the knee. Maybe taking a couple breaths like this. Otherwise, you can stay in your down dog and take any other variation. Make sure you do both legs, whatever it is that you're doing. It's a little bit of freedom to choose what feels right, to open up the parts of the body that want to be opened, and then start to come to downward dog. If you have a blanket, this would be a good time to move it. And then we're going to come to plank pose. Maybe you have to adjust the hands and the feet. Go back to downward facing dog. Come back to plank. You could keep the knees up or lower them down. We're going to take plank into chaturanga. So lower by bending the elbows, come all the way down. Find extended cobra, press into the fingertips, rise the heart, and then exhale, roll it down. Again, extended cobra. Think of lengthening your whole spine from your head to your tailbone, even to your toes. And then come back down. And on this last one, we'll add a twist. So inhale, rise all the way up. Drop your shoulder and ear to the mat and look to the other side. And then inhale, twist at center. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, rise up center. Exhale, roll all the way down. Come to tabletop. Child's pose. Knees can be wide, toes towards each other. Maybe kind of wiggle the hips a little side to side or just breathe. One more breath. And then let's come to tabletop. And then from here, we're going to open the hips a little bit by dropping down to the elbows. So you're kind of like in a forearm plank almost. We're going to ground this left knee down and then rise that right foot up and back. So it's almost like you should be feeling this kind of in your right glute. And then bring that right knee back down. And we'll do the left side. Sweep that left leg up and back, kind of flexing your foot, pressing your heel to the sky, and then come back down. We're going to do the right leg again, and then create some soft circles in your hip. Just kind of circle it around, move it around a little bit, and then reverse, go the other way. Maybe it's 2 circles. So bringing mobility into the hips with a little bit of control and support in the core, and then bring it back down to the left side. So sweep that left leg back and up, and do some hip circles here. So we're engaging in the hips, the core. Maybe reverse it. So take some control and attention to the body, and then bring the knee back down. Rise up to your hands, straighten the elbows. Back to downward facing dog, and take 3 breaths here. Feel the length down the backs of your legs. And then on an inhale, I want you to rise your heels really high, so you're coming to the balls of the feet. And then exhale, ground your heels back down as low as you can get them. Maybe they touch the ground. Repeat that. Inhale, rise your heels really high. And then exhale, drop your heels really low. One more time, inhale, rise the heels. And then this time, bend your knees, but keep your heels lifted. Look forward, walk your feet to your hands. Into ragdoll, forward fold, let the body hang. Maybe sway side to side or grab opposite elbows. Feel the stretch, feel the weight of gravity. Gonna add a ragdoll twist. If you have a block, it might be good here. Left hand to the floor or to your block. Peel the right arm open. Take a nice big twist. Breathe here. One more inhale. Exhale, lower the arm. Left side. Inhale, twist the left arm open, right arm down. Stay for another breath. And then on your exhale, come back down to ragdoll. Let the arms hang, knees are a little soft, and we're gonna roll it up to stand through the spine from the low back, middle back, upper back, neck, and head. Take as much time as you need. Look forward, root the fingertips towards the floor, palms forward, mountain pose. Feel your feet grounded into the earth. Pull the belly in slightly and take in the landscape in front of you. Inhale, sweep your arms up, look up. Exhale, dive forward over the legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. Chaturanga down. You can come into a low cobra on this first one. So inhale, low cobra pose. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Draw your navel in. Feel the length of your spine, the length of your legs. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step or hop your feet to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, round and fold. Inhale, rise up all the way, arms overhead. Hands to heart center. Reach your arms low. This next section, we're gonna come into low lunge. So if you wanna have 2 blocks under your hands, you could grab them now. Otherwise, you're gonna reach for the floor. So have the blocks on the right and the left. We're gonna inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Low lunge on the right. Hands can come to blocks or to the ground. So feel that nice lunge. Maybe take like a little lean forward and back to stretch the ankles and the toes. And then once this feels good, ground yourself into the lunge. Left hand to the floor or to a block. Reach your right arm, twist, open, dragonfly. And breathe here. Push into your right foot, especially the big toe arch. And then bring it back down, frame your foot. Come up to high lunge, root into the legs, rise the arms overhead, use your core and your glutes and your thighs to support you. Gaze forward, reaching through the fingers. We're going to sweep the arms back and take like an airplane lean. And then bring your hands back to low lunge, step it back to plank, take a vinyasa, bend the elbows, low cobra or upward facing dog if you're ready. And then downward facing dog. Take 2 to 3 breaths here. Draw the belly in. Feel the length down the backs of your legs, even if your knees are bent. And then you're going to travel your feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Reach your arms overhead. Hands to heart center. Let's do the left side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway. Low lunge on the left. We can rock forward and back for a couple breaths, stretching the calves, the toes, and the ankles. And then when this feels good, settle into your lunge, right hand down, left arm peels open for dragonfly twist. Maybe look at your left thumb, try to stack your wrist over your shoulder, over your other shoulder, over your second wrist. And then come back down, low lunge. Ground yourself to come up to high lunge, Anjaneyasana. So feet rooted into the earth. Hips square, shoulder square, belly engaged. That back glute, that right glute is pretty engaged. And then we're going to airplane the arms and lean forward. Look at your front foot. Return to low lunge. Step it to plank. Take your vinyasa. So taking any back bend that feels good. Down dog. So we're starting to energize and wake up the body a little more. If you want to add, you could do some plank rolls here, maybe rolling forward to high plank and then back to downward dog. And you could do that a couple times. If you want to play around with some other variations in your down dog, you're more than welcome to. Maybe you take a down dog twist with your feet wide and you bring your right hand to your left ankle and hold for maybe 2 breaths. I like to think of pushing into the left hand when I'm doing this and then going the other way. So again, you have some freedom here to do what feels good. And then we're going to meet in downward dog. And then eventually, in your own time, feet to hands, however you want to get them there. And then you'll inhale to your flat back, forward fold, and rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Feel your feet rooted into the earth. From here, let's face the long edge of the mat, maybe taking your blocks with you if you want to use them. Wide-legged forward fold. So if you have blocks, put them in front of you. I'll demo with my block here. We're going to bring hands to hips, point the toes forward. Feel your spine nice and lifted. And then bring hands to heart center. Root into the outer edges of your feet. Take a hinge, send the tailbone back, the head forward. And then you can land your hands onto the blocks or onto the mat. And if you have that good mobility, you could start to walk the fingertips back in line with the toes. And let the head reach for the earth and the tailbone reach for the sky. Elbows bent. So let's take a couple breaths here, just reversing the blood flow into the head. If we're deepening into the shape, I want you to think of straightening the legs and shifting weight into the toes a little bit. And then let's walk the hands over to the right ankle, fold forehead to knee, and take a couple breaths here. If you'd like to extend into a twist, you can reach your right arm to the ceiling, left hand stays on the ankle, and extend your spine. You could even throw in a half bind here, right arm behind the back. And then we're going to return through the center, over to the left, and do the same thing. So you're thinking forehead to knee. If you have blocks, you can use them under the hands still. This could be your stretch, or if you want to add on, left arm peels open as you straighten both elbows. Wrap the left arm behind your back and twist your heart left. And then you start forward folding back towards the knee. Walk it through the center. And then from here, come to your flat back. And we're going to start to walk the feet in. So you can soften your knees, walk your feet to about hip distance like a rag doll, and then forward fold. You can stay here. If it feels good for you to come into yogi squat, you can turn your toes out, widen your feet a little bit wider than your hips, and then bend your knees and come down into malasana. This is optional, but maybe it feels nice to open the hips and the pelvis this way. And we'll just take 2 more breaths. Maybe you press your elbows into your knees, feel yourself getting lifted tall through the head. And then we'll return to ragdoll. Forward fold. And then this time we'll sweep it up to stand. Reach the arms overhead. Hands to heart center. Okay, from here we're going to take a little balance. So you can keep your hands at heart center. Shift weight into your right foot. And we're going to come into tree pose, but you might start to elevate that left knee to about 90 degrees in front of you, so parallel. Then we're going to open the knee to the left and bring your foot to your calf, tree pose. Pull the belly in, feel that lift through the head, almost like someone's taking you by the ears and pulling the head forward and up. And relax the shoulders. Take 2 more breaths. Maybe having a soft gaze, but focused. So can it be a focused, relaxed gaze? And then bring the left foot down. Shift weight into that left foot, hands at heart center. Ground down, root into the earth, rise your right knee. Pull the belly in, feel nice and lifted. Turn your knee out. And then connect the foot to the calf, tree pose. So you're thinking of opening this right hip, locking into the glute, and setting your gaze. See if you can find ease in other parts of the body, like the shoulders, and maybe even in the jaw, but keeping that nice focus. And then let that foot come down, shake it out. We're gonna face the top of the mat and do a couple standing back bends, feet hip distance. So you're gonna inhale, reach the arms overhead, Utthita Hastasana, palms face each other. Draw the belly in, feel your feet on the ground. Feel the fingers rising upward. You're gonna get taller, 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 and then take a little back bend, keep the arms extended, squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button in and lift the gaze so it's in line with your neck. And then come back to center, hands lower down to the heart. So we're gonna try to back bend from the whole spine, from the head to the tailbone. And the gaze really is just going along for the ride. So your head and neck are staying in this really beautiful relationship. And then the eyes are kind of just following. So let's do it. We're gonna do 2 more back bends. We're gonna repeat. Inhale, arms overhead, palms face each other, draw the belly in, root down through your feet. Get taller, 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 taller until you can't get any taller. And then you start to go back as you continue to stretch through the fingers down into the feet. So you're back bending with your whole body from your fingers to your heels. And then come back to neutral, hands to heart center. Sweep the arms up one more time. We're gonna cactus the arms and back bend. So tall, 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 and then bend the elbows, open the chest, squeeze the glutes, feel the energy expanding through your heart center. Inhale, reach up, forward fold, exhale. Bend the knees, take a little sway side to side. Maybe we kind of walk the hands over to the right. If you're able to, bend your right knee and lean into your left hip and glute. Take one more breath here. And then bend both knees, come back through the center carefully. Walk your hands over to the left, so it's like on a diagonal. Straighten your right, bend your left leg, and lean into your right hip. And then we're gonna soften the knees, come back to center. Make your way to plank pose. Chaturanga, find one more up dog. Push into the tops of the feet, the toes, roll the chest open, shoulders back. Block out the legs, your knees are off the floor. Flip it to plank, downward dog. And then from here, we're gonna maybe hop through to a seat. So you're gonna lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, and then we're gonna cross the ankles and hop to a seat. And then extend the legs in front of you. From here, bend your right knee in, take a twist to your right, Marichyasana. So right hand down, feeling tall through the spine, look past your right shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out, come forward, switch the legs, bend the left knee, twist to the left. So left hand back, rotate the spine. And then breathe out. From here, shake out the legs, Baddha Konasana, fold, bring your feet together. Round your back, knees wide, shake the head no. And then we're gonna start to come back up. Roll yourself down to your back. So make sure at the a little past center of your mat, grab behind your thighs, sit up nice and tall, feet planted, and then round through your back and roll it all the way down. Take your time. And then maybe when we get there, you take a full body stretch, reach the fingers and the toes. Maybe circle the ankles. And then from here, hug your right knee to your chest. Squeeze the knee in. And then take it into a twist. Over to your left, reach your right arm to the side, to the right. Maybe turn your head to the right. And take one more breath. And then start to come back through the center. Hug your right knee to your chest again. Give it like a little squeeze. And then switch the legs. Left knee in, squeeze it in. Twist it to the right as you open your left arm to the left. Maybe gaze to the left. And take 2 more breaths. And then slowly come back to the center. Hug the left knee in. Hug both knees in. And then we're going to circle the hips away from each other to get a little mobility into the hips. Loosening up the joints, relaxing the body. Take deep exhales. Reverse your circles. From here, optional happy baby pose. Or if you're feeling really called to, you could take a bridge pose, but I'll leave that up to you if that's what you're feeling. And we'll close out with just a couple more breaths. If there's any last movements your body's craving, maybe any stretches or poses you want to take, please do that now. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to land the body onto the ground and find a comfortable pose for Shavasana. So it can look like whatever you want. It could be knees bent. It could be legs straight. It could be hips open. So take any shape that feels good for you. Allow yourself to settle there and then close your eyes. And allow your gaze to turn inward. Notice the subtle landscape of your own body. Allow the heart rate to start to come back down as you relax the shoulders and the neck and the jaw and the hips and the legs and the toes. And allow yourself to feel good here, to joyfully expand into this pose and to allow your energy to settle, maybe like this soft glowing ray of sunlight. Let your heart center radiate with warmth and love and peace, and let it ground you into this moment so that you feel totally content with what is and happy to be exactly here where you are right now. And then as you lie here, you can choose to stay in this Shavasana for as long as feels good. Or you can start to reawaken the body slowly and make your way to a fetal position. Maybe taking a few breaths there. And then coming up to a seat. Maybe returning similar to how you began, but transformed and changed from the start of class until now. Bring your palms together, bow your head towards your heart. Thank yourself for showing up, for being present, and take this grounded, soft, focused energy with you throughout the rest of your day. Thank you for sharing this time with me. The divine light within me bows to the divine light within you and within all things. Namaste. Thank you, and I will see you soon.